So I already graded your task one. It's already posted in D2L, your grades. The key is already posted in D2L. The only thing is I haven't scanned your test yet and then sent it to you to your college email. I think majority of you have a college email that is with you. Some of them have a Hotmail or Gmail account. So I also will include your Hotmail or Gmail account that you put in there. So so you can either check both your Hotmail, Gmail, your personal and your college email. I do send it to your college email because it's mostly everyone have it. So double check with my work. Sometimes I do grade wrong. Sometimes I add wrong or something else. Please check. The key is already posted in D2L, so I can show it to you what it looks like. They are a little bit different on the key side because the questions is hard to read. So if you go to the D2L website, so the key is posted there. Together with your, so this is the key. So if you click on the key, the only thing that is downloaded for you. So the only different about the key over here is it's hard to read some of the questions because my computer, my printer ink is running low. So so it's kind of a question that's hard to read. So if you can't read the questions, then just download the test one PDF. This is the original test without the work, without the key. So if you cannot read through this, please make sure you read, you follow what's going on with it. And then the other thing is that my number 6 and number 7 is switched around. So this should be number 7 and this is number 6. That's the only difference here. The rest all looks the same. So make sure that not only two things, 6 and 7, be switched around, and then it's hard to read. Yes, it's my ink for the computer is running low, so that's why it came out like that. So if you have any questions regarding with this task, with your stuff, just email me and I will, and I will take a look at it. Okay, so that's first thing is I'll probably do it somewhere tonight. I will scan your papers and send it to you. The other thing is tutoring. So yes, there are free tutoring for you guys via the Math Resource Center. So if you're not doing too well, some of you did email me asking me what should I do for my next test. I'm not doing too well. I would recommend you to email me, sign up for this free tutoring. Go to this website down here, click on it, sign up, schedule an appointment. It's free. I think you can do like 1 hour a day for up to 5 days. I would highly recommend you guys to do it, those students who are not doing too well. And the other thing is the test. I also recommend you guys to come during my review for the test. I know that a couple students was waiting for me outside the hallway. So next time, for you guys, for the students, if the classroom is in CLA 118 or something else, so if I'm not there, just go look around me. It's either behind, in front, next to it, or somewhere else. You will hear me talking. So do come to that class because this is a class time for you guys. So from 2 to 3:30, Monday, Wednesday, I only have you guys. So I'm not teaching anyone else beside you guys. So just see me, come in. Don't wait outside. Just walk around if I'm not around, because that whoever that giving a test on that day, he is mean. He is really, really mean. I should report him. So I'm really upset with that guy. So really, really upset with the instructor there. So so please come and look for me if I'm not in that classroom. So it might be just across the room or next to each other. Okay. So hopefully you guys will be doing well for this upcoming test. So anyone have any questions with this piece? Again, there is no homework due this weekend, so you do not have. The reason why I didn't give you the task key and the answer key for the review is because you guys will look at the key and then probably not doing the work. So I try my best, because if I give you the answer key, it would be like what I show it to you on here. It'll be like every single information. It'll be like, like this. It'll be like exactly like this one. So I'll try my best not to give you the key, but if you want, you can email me and I can help you with it. Because if I just do like this, example, this is the review for the key that that Kelvin is asking for. If I just do all this work, you guys will not get it. Just simply just go through it. So I really want you guys to work it out. So if you do need the review, that I do give you the key. If you need the answer or solution, or you can ask me, you'll say, hey, David, is that number 1, number 2, this is how you do it? I will look at it and I will say, yes, this is how we do it. And another thing is go ask the tutor. So if you have get a sign up for Math Resource Center, that's a tutor, you can always ask the tutor. They should know it. Okay, so I would highly ask me first. If I didn't reply back, then ask the tutor. Yes, that will be something I would. And the reason why I really don't want to give the key out for the review is because you guys will not do the work. You just look at it. So again, math, you're not looking, you're not reading like this. You actually have to work it out. So that's the reason why that I do not try my best give you guys to work it out. So yes, if you need help, let me know. I will give you the key and I will let you know if your answer is right or wrong. The next thing I want to point out to you guys is your next test. Yes, next test is coming out. Surprise. Test 2 is cover chapter 4.3 and the whole chapter 5 and 9.1. So it'll be on October 11 on Monday. So this is your test 2. So today we'll cover up 4.3 and 4.4, and then so I think this weekend is 4.3 and 4.4. Let me check. I think so. Yep. So this weekend is 4.3 and 4.4. We'll cover these 2 sections this weekend. And again, there is no homework due this Wednesday, so don't worry about that. The next Wednesday, you will have 4.3 and 4.4 due on next Wednesday. So please, so this is considered this is still considered algebra piece. So make sure you guys understand how to do this one. And again, if you need help, I don't have Zoom on Tuesday, Thursday. So if you do need the Zoom help, please help me. Just send me an email and I'll set up Zoom meetings with you guys. Okay, so that is also very important. So anyone have any questions so far with our class? I know it goes, and this class goes very fast. So this is very fast. As I mentioned on the first day of class, this class is a very fast class. It's a 2 class combined into 1 class. So 2 classes into 1. So that's why it goes very fast. So the first 2 tests that we're going through is in college algebra. And then the last 2 tests, the test 3 and the final is in trig. So that's why we're doing college algebra now. And then trig, chapter 6 onwards is all trigonometry. So we will continue in 4.3 and 4.4. So 4.3 and 4.4 is called the Conics sections. Okay. So so what is a conic section? A conic section is where you got a cone, you know, a cone like an ice cream cone, and you do what we call as a double nap cone. So what is a double nap cone is, this is a picture of it. So this is what we call as a double nap cone. Means you got a cone like an ice cream cone. You do it like sideways, one on top, one is on the bottom. And when you take a piece of paper, let's say this is a piece of paper, we call it, and we begin to cut through it, and you got what we call as the 4 basic conic section. If you let your paper cut exactly on the 90 degrees, like straight cut forward 180 degrees like this, you get yourself a circle. But if your paper is a little bit slightly on a, you know, a tilted angle, then you guys got not exactly circle. It's kind of a circle, but it's called ellipse. It depends on not the radius. It doesn't. The radius is not the same for this case. And then if you tilted your paper a little bit outside the cone, you will get yourself a parabola. And then if you do a vertical, like you let your paper set vertical, you will get a 2 parabola. We call this as a hyperbola. Okay. So this is the 4 basic conic sections that you will learn in this class, in this section 4.3 and 4.4. There are some other what we call as degenerative conics, is where, yes, if you cut this paper right in the middle of this, you get a point. And if you cut right on the line here, you will get a line of the, so it's not an elliptical or circle. And if you cut right this, if you move this right in the middle of it, and you will get yourself an X, like the 2 intersection lines. So these 3 degenerative conics we will not study in our class. So we will only study this 4 different conic sections. So let's talk about these 4 conic sections here. Okay, so it's all in here. So there's a picture. So the first one is called a circle. So circle is where it's a collection of all points X, Y, is equal distance from the fixed point HK. So this HK is what we call as a center, And the equation is given to us by this equation, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to r squared, where h and k is your center of the circle and r in this case is your radius. So some of you will ask me that, David, do I really need to memorize this formula? Quite a lot of formulas here. My answer to you is no, you do not need to memorize all this formula. There are some formulas you need to memorize, but not this kind. It's because I will provide this in your test. So if you go to 4.4 section in your notes here, so you will see this whole thing. So this whole thing will be provided in your test 2. Okay, so these formulas exactly the same will be provided in test 2. So you do, so circle is one of them, this circle over here. So you do not need to worry about memorizing these formulas. There are some formulas you need to memorize, but these are provided in there. So please, when you guys do my homework for 4.3 and 4.4, please use this formula because it's like, you know, because it will be in your test. So you get used to it. Okay. So that is the one I want to point out to you guys. So do not need to memorize the formula. There are some formulas to memorize. I will highlight for you in other colors. So that is circles. So pretty straightforward types. The next one we have is a parabola. So what is a parabola? Now you guys learn parabola in 3.1 is open upward, open downward. We got the vertex, you know, we got all the different other stuff in there. So that is not the correct definitions of parabola. So this is actually the correct way to define parabolas. So parabola is actually where you take a point xy and it is equal distance from a fixed line called the directrix and the fixed point called the focus. So what is going on in this case? So I'm going to show you the picture of it. So this is the definitions of parabola. So this is the parabola, and so a parabola is copy and paste. I can tell you that this is a set point x, y. So these are, so if you take all these points on the parabola, so these are x, y point, and if you take the distance from the xy point to the focus and to this dashed line is called the directrix. The distance between the focus point to the xy point and the xy point to the directrix are the same. So no matter where you go, the distance between this point to the focus point and this point to the directrix that forms 90 degrees, they are all the same. So in other words, this is your vertex. As you know, vertex is right in the minimum part here. So the distance between the direct focus points and the vertex is the same as the vertex to the directrix. So if this is 2 units, then this is also 2 units. Okay, so usually we use the vertex point more than the xy point here because vertex is what usually we use for parabola. So that is very important here. And this is the axis of symmetry that you learned last time. Okay, so so that is the correct definitions of parabola. It's using the word equal distance between a point from the focus point and the directrix. So so when you guys do this section in parabola, the focus point is very important, and the directrix line is also very, very important. And there is a lot of applications, means word problems on the parabola. Example that you get when you do parabola like this, word problems is like your lenses. If you wear your contact lens or your glasses or your contact lens are all gonna be a parabola way, and your eye will be on the focus point. That means that anything that so this is your eye and this is your lens or your glasses. So that means everything is focused on, if you they all will focus on your focus point. So everything will be like they will kind of go through your focus point with your eyes, so everything meet in here so you can see clearly. So so contact lens is one of them. Satellite dish, if you have a satellite dish, it's a parabola, and then you got a little, you know, the up in the middle, they got a little thing pointing up. That is your focus point. That means that all your satellite, if you know receiving your satellite, is all going to be bounced into your focus point. So they all will be focused on this point, and that is why it looks something like that. What else? There's a lot of applications that use a parabola. Your bridge, if you build a bridge, Golden Gate Bridge or whatever bridge, you see the wiring on the top is always a U shape. This is, let's say this is your bridge, okay, and then you got the wire that goes, so that is also a parabola. So there's a lot of applications that use parabola in this case. So that's why when you guys do the homework, that is a part that that talks about application problems. They talk about this kind of work like the contact lenses, the satellite, the speaker of your phone, all these things is all built on this. So it's very important. Okay. So so the standard equations of the parabola is given us by this formula. Again, it's in your you do not need to memorize this. It's in your that piece of paper 4.4. So this is the equation of a parabola, where your directrix is y equals to negative p. So that means this x squared equals to 4py has a vertical axis. So what's meaning when I say has this vertical axis? It means that your parabola is open upward or downward. That means it's like the one that you learned in my 3.1. That means it's go upward or downward, open upward or downward, depends on the P. So if you look at your P here, that will tell us are they open upward or downward. If your P is positive, it opens upward. If P is negative, it opens downward. Also, your parabola can open on the horizontal axis. If it's open on the horizontal axis, then you just interchange your xy. Remember how you find your inverse function. So that means that x squared will become y squared, 4px will become 4py. So this is the equation of it. And instead of y equals to negative p, your directrix will be x equals to negative p. And if you have such case, then you don't have, we call it open sideways. And when you open sideways, it can open like a C and the opposite C. So it can be the other, so it can be going sideways like this, or it can go sideways like this. Again, it depends on your P. If your P is negative, then it goes to the negative, means open this side. If it's positive, it goes the C way, this way. Okay. So if you look at your pic, again, your textbook has a very nice picture here. So so this is the one that I'm talking about here. So this is what happens to your parabola. So if you have, this is open up and down. So x squared equals to 4py. This is open this way. And as you know, the distance from your focus to your vertex is the same to your directrix. So let's say that is the distance is p. So your directrix is y equals to negative p here. The reason why this is y equals to, because this line is a horizontal line. So it's like horizontal asymptote is y equals to. And the reason why it's a negative is because it belows your x value. So this number is all negative values. And your focus is 0p is because it's above that. So that means your p here is positive. It opens outwards. Okay. Then what happens? Don't forget the vertex here is at 0, 0. So in the next section 4.4, your vertex is no longer at 0, 0. It's going to be an HK, so another coordinates. So in 4.3, mostly all your vertex and all your center is at 0, 0, means at the origin. But once next section 4.4, your vertex is no longer in 0, 0. Same thing happens with parabola that is open horizontal. Now it's open the other sideways. Now again you interchange your x and y, so it's y squared equals to 4px. So this line that you see here is going to be your directrix line, and this line is not a horizontal, it's a vertical line, and every vertical line is x equals to, and again it's a negative because it is on the negative side of the x values, and the p the focus point is positive p. And again, this is when p is positive. What happens when p is negative? Then you just need to interchange this. So that means this is open downwards, or this is open sideways. Then your directrix will be on top, or your directrix, if open sideways, is on the positive side, on the right side. So that means your x in this case is positive p in this case. So the p is the main part of to find this equation. Okay, so p is the main part. So for example, is if I give you y equals to negative 2x squared, and if you want to find what's your parabola is, the first thing that I ask my students is this parabola is that parabola on the vertical axis, or is this parabola on the horizontal axis? Anyone can tell if I give you this equation, y equals to negative 2x squared, which one is it, vertical or horizontal?
Horizontal.
Why is horizontal?
Because the x is in the equation and it equals to y.
They have x and y in the equation, both of them. So that is not the right way to say it, and that's actually wrong. So don't look at the y equals 2 and compare, oh, this is y equals 2, this is horizontal. Class, this is very important. I want to point out again to everyone here. You don't look at the y equals 2, you look at what variable got squared. If your x variable got squared, vertical. If your y variable got squared, horizontal. So can you tell me which variable here got squared, your x or your y? Your x, right?
Yeah.
And what is that means? It's going to be parabola.
It's vertical.
Vertical. So make sure you guys know, don't just look at y equals 2 and say, oh, y equals 2 means here, y equals 2. So it's horizontal. You're looking at who got squared. You guys all right here?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So if you look carefully, this is a vertical. So the x squared is by itself. So what we do here is we try to get x squared by itself. Does anyone know how to get x squared by itself here? Anyone know how to get x squared by itself? Divided by negative 2, right? So this is x squared equals to negative 1 over 2y. I just write down as this way because you can see it. And now, as I mentioned early on, your equations, you need to know your p. So what do I do here is I compare this equation with x squared equals to 4py. And we need to find what is the p value. What is the p in this case? How do we find, because it's a formula here, and how do we find p is because the x squared is the same, you can cancel out, your y squared is the same. So that means that your 4p in this case is going to be equals to negative 1/2. So this is how we figure out p here. So you compare this with the formula, and then you take the number here and make it equals to 4p and solve for p. So we divide both sides by 4. So these guys know what happens when you divide this by 4. What is p value? What is p in this case? What is negative 1/2 divided by 4? Calculators.
Negative 1/8.
This is negative 1/8. Now, as I mentioned early on, since your p is negative, is that going to be open upwards or is it open down?
Down.
This is open downward. So that means if I draw a parabola, this parabola will open downward. Sorry, it's really bad parabola. And your focus point right here will be at 0, negative 1/8. And where is the negative 1/8 come from? It comes from your p. Okay. And your directrix will be this line. Is that x equals 2 or y equals 2? X or y equals 2?
Y?
Yes, y equals 2. Now, because this is on the positive side, so you just need to change your sign of your p. So this negative will become positive. So your directrix will be y equals 1/8. So this is usually they will ask you to find to draw the picture and then figure out what is p is, and this is how you do it. This is your focus point, and this is your directrix. You guys all right here? Questions with this? So let's do another example. We'll consider on parabola first, and then we'll do the rest of it. All right, this is the same thing. y squared equals to 3x. This is real. This is the example we're going to do. So I'm going to write it down here. This is question 1. This is 4.3. Y squared equals to 3x. So can someone first tell me, looking at this, is this going to be a vertical one or a horizontal?
Horizontal.
Okay. So this is a parabola with the horizontal axis. You can short form this, I understand it. Okay. So we need to figure out P, right? So I compare this with y, because of the y squared, that's why it's horizontal, equals to 4px, because that is the formula we use. So can someone tell me how do we compare P? So what is equals to what? Like, remember how we solve P here? So take the middle part, what you do? Yep, go ahead. So 4p in this case is equals to what?
3.
3. So p in this case is
3/4.
3/4. Yep. So now can you, so you tell me this is a horizontal part. So what is our parabola? It will be open upwards, downwards, or sideways? It's open sideways like this, all right? Is that going to be the C way like this, or is that going to be the opposite C way?
E.
Is it going to be this C, or is it going to be the other way like that?
C way.
It'll be a C way. The reason why this is a C way is because your P is what?
Positive.
Positive. So it's going to be open the C way. Again, this is the vertex is at where? 0, 0. No vertex. So for this section, everything is 0, 0. So what is my focus point? What is this coordinates? That is your P. Anyone?
3/4.
Focus point is in coordinates point. So 3/4, 0, or 0, 3/4. Which one?
3/4 and 0.
Yep, this is correct. Don't forget, if it's on the open up and down, the P is on the Y value. If it's open sideways, the P is on the X value. And can you tell me your my directrix? Directrix is this fellow. This is your directrix, the one that goes here. Okay, it's always, is this X or Y equals to anyone? This is your P here. X or Y? This one is Y. This is
X.
equals to what?
Negative 3/4.
Yep. Because it's on the negative side. So use your P here. So so this is how you figure out the picture, and this is how you figure out the focus point and your directrix. This is what the question asks you in the first question for this case. Anyone have any questions with this one before we continue?
The D equals X, that one doesn't have to be a point.
No, your directrix is a line, not a point. Okay, the directrix is a line, not a point. So that's why you have to use X equals to, like your asymptotes. Remember asymptotes? X equals to Y equals to vertical. So it's the same thing. So that's why you it's not a point. Focus, yes. So make sure you know this is a coordinates point. So you have to use coordinate part, and directrix is a line. So when I say line, it has to be either Y equals to or X equals to, depends on, is that vertical or is that a horizontal? Questions? Okay, and again, this is parabola. Okay, we got 3 more. We got ellipse and hyperbola. So so we just concentrate on one first. Let's take a look at number 2 here. So question number 2 is also asking, now we want you to write the equations of the parabola again, and the original with the origin, vertex is at the origin and pass through the point -2, 6, and has a horizontal axis. So when I say horizontal axis, this is very important. Can you tell me what formula is the horizontal axis? Is that this one or this one?
First one.
First one is called what? Vertical. This one called as horizontal. So actually is what? The second one. Yep. So again, read the question carefully and they will tell you what axis it belongs to. And since this is asking for horizontal axis, then make sure this is horizontal axis. And if you refer to my notes, remember the notes I told you that you can use in your test, they will also split into two. This is a parabola. They have the vertical and horizontal. So this is the one. And if you compare this formula that you have and this circle, this parabola that you have, what is the difference you see here is they got h and k. Okay, so the only difference you see between these two is they got minus h and minus k on the x and the y here. That means that your vertex here is not in 0, 0, your vertex in hk. So you can actually, if you put 0, 0 in your hk, you will still end up the same formula as this. You guys with me here? Okay, because your vertex is at origin 0, 0. So if you put 0, 0 on your hk, you will end up with x squared equals to 4py, which is this fellow, and y squared equals to 4px, which is the horizontal axis, which is this one. That's why make sure you use this formula in your homework and treat, when you do this in this section 4.3, treat your make sure your hk in this case will be 0, 0. So your focus point, you put again hk is 0, 0, and your hk will be 0, 0 for this case. For if you have a vertex on 0, 0. So so now we got this. So actually this is the second one. So it's gonna be 4 equals to what? 4. Y equals to y squared equals to 4px. Okay, since this question is asking it is a horizontal axis. So my question is asking is because we need to know p, right? So how do we get p in this case? Is you take this point, negative 2, 6, which is your x and y values, and you plug it into here, and you solve for p. So what you do is plug a 6 square here, the y is 6, 4p times x is negative 2. So 6 squared is 36, right? This is negative 8p. Divide both sides by negative 8. So p in this case is what? Anyone got a calculator to help me to reduce this? Anyone?
Over 2.
9 over 2, right? So the answer for this equation, what you do is use back this and just plug p as what you just found. So your answer is y squared equals to 4 times negative 9 over 2. That's what you find p is, x. And leave your answer like this in your test and your homework. That means you do not need to multiply. You can if you want to. Just leave it like this. If your online homework mark you wrong, then you just multiply it in, then you get y squared equals to negative, I think 16x, I believe, right? Not 16, 18x, sorry. Okay, so I'm not picky in my home test. I will take these two answers, but if your online homework mark you wrong here, just make sure that you multiply this in. Okay, so this is your equation, either one of those. And the question wants you to find the coordinates of your focus point. So can someone tell me, is this open upward, downward, C shape, or anti-C shape? Is that 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which one is the correct one for him?
Is it 2?
Don't forget, this is y squared. So is that open upward, downward?
3.
So this is not. So this is and because p is negative, So your parabola is open C shape, but on facing the opposite, the left and facing on the left side. So so as you know that your focus point is right here, and this is your P. So can someone tell me what is your focus point here? It's the coordinates. P in this case is negative 9/2.
Focus point is 0 and negative 9/2.
0, negative 9/2 is right here, which is wrong. Should be what? Negative
9/2.
and make sure that this is another student tends to make mistakes here is they like to switch the XY value around. So that's the reason why that I want to point out to you guys that your focus point is P0 if it's open sideways. No matter it's C shape or anti-C shape, sideways like this is P0. But if you go for the up down, it's 0P. Okay, so make sure you know that this is P0 for your focus point. Okay, so don't switch that around. You guys all right here?
Yeah.
Just the corner focus point. All right. Question 3. The light bulb of flashlight. So this is talking about the light bulb of flashlight. Is a focus point of parabola reflector 1.5 centimeter from the vertex of the reflector. This is on page 340, figure 31. You need to write an equation for this flashlight reflector where it's focused on the positive x-axis and the vertex is at the origin. So if you go to the page 340 in your, this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is this kind of very similar to this question. So that means that this is your this is your reflector. We call it parabola reflector, and this is your focus point. And this focus point is 1.5 centimeter from the vertex. So that means from the vertex to the focus point is 1.5 centimeter. So how do we do question 3? I'll just draw this picture out so you will take a look at it. So question 3 is going to be a parabola reflector. So look very similar to this picture. And the light bulb is right over here. This is your focus point. And it is 1.5, I think. Question 3 is asking for 1.5. What is that for? I think it's 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 centimeters. So from here to here is 1.5 centimeters. So back to the original same question. So every time when I ask students to do this, is I ask them, is this parabola open vertical, have a vertical axis, or have a horizontal axis?
Horizontal.
So the formula is y squared equals to 4px. It is a horizontal. What is your P in this case?
1.5.
1.5. Yeah, this is your P. So what you do is just plug this inside here, you get your answer. So y squared equals to 4 times 1.5x. Again, I take this answer, but if you want to multiply in, it's also fine. Anyone know what is 4 times 1.5?
6.
6. So this is your answer in this case. So this is how we do. It's not that difficult. The only difficult part is make sure you know what it looks like. So once you get it's an upward, downward, or sideways. So once you figure that one out, it's not that difficult. You guys all right? So this is our parabola. So we're gonna talk about ellipses next. Questions for me?
Yes. So y squared equals 6x is the answer for that.
Yep. That's your answer for this one because the question is asking for. So make sure you know that when the question is asking for equation means it's like y equals to mx plus b. So that's why the equation. So this is an equation. Okay, and when a question asking for focus point, it has to be in coordinates. And then when a question is asking for directrix has to be a line, x equals 2, y equals 2. You guys all right? Okay, so the next one we're going to talk, so that is ellipse, parabola. So now we go through the definitions of ellipse. So this is ellipse. What is ellipse? Ellipse in this case is where it is have a point x, y, where it is the if you add the sum of the distance between two fixed points. So instead of focus is 1 point, so we call it foci. So you got 2 foci, and then if you add, you pick a point x, y, and if you add them up, the sum of those two is the same. Constant means they are the same the whole time. So let me show you what is an ellipse. If I give you a picture so you can see more clearly what is the picture of the ellipse. The next picture. There you go. So this is an ellipse. So it has a center, okay, and it has a focus point or foci because you have 2, and that is a point x, y here. So if you take the distance from the focus point to this point x, y, and if you take the distance from here to here, so if you add these two distance, d1 and d2, is the same when you go this side or this side or this side. So every time when you put a point, and if you add if you find the distance between this focus point to this point and this focus point, the distance between those two, and you add them up, and that addition of this is the same as those two. So if this is 3 and 4, and if you find this will be 2 and 5 because the total must be 7. Okay, so constant means the same throughout the whole thing. And for ellipse, we got 2 types of axis. The longer side is called a major axis. The shorter side is called a minor axis. The major axis has all the goodies in there. It has the vertex, so the end point is called a vertex. The major axis also have the foci, and it has a center. So, so we got 2 types of ellipse. An ellipse has a major axis that is horizontal, which looks something like this. Horizontal means flat, horizontal. And you got an ellipse that looks like having a major axis on the vertical. So vertical means this fellow will go sideways. So I show it to you. So this is it. So it has a major axis on the horizontal, means your focus, your foci, your ellipse, vertex or vertices will be on, and the center is all on the horizontal or on the x-axis. And for the major axis that's vertical, then your center, your foci, and your vertices, they're all on the y-axis. And the formula is, if you have major axis on the horizontal for ellipse, is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. The other way around is x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals 1. So which is in here. So this is the formula for it. You need to know something else. That first thing is that your A has to be greater than B, and your major and your minor axis is 2A and 2B. Okay, so let me someone asked, let me where's the picture? So in other words here is what is A here? A is the distance from the center to your vertex. This is A. So this is A, and then if you go away, it's A. So the whole major axis is 2A because you got A on one side and A on the other side. Minor axis means you go up and down if you go for horizontal. So this is B and this is B. The distance from here is B and B. And so the whole minor axis is 2B. And that's the reason why that your A has to be longer than B or bigger than B. And what is C? C is the distance from the center to your foci. Okay, and how do you figure out C? This is very special, and this I'm going to use a different color, and I'm going to use this as so in order for us to find C, you have to use this formula. C squared is equals to A squared minus B squared. Yes, this formula is not in your formula, so you have to memorize this. So if you look at your 4.4 formula, It's very similar to it. So for ellipse, usually x squared over a squared, if you look at the table that we have, is x squared over a squared, y squared over b squared. The only difference between this section and that section is because your center is no longer at 0, 0, it's going to be at hk. So you just minus h for your x and minus k for your y. So this is very similar to this one. So the only thing that you need to figure out here, which is not in your formula, is in order for you to find the c squared, is like your Pythagorean theorem. So if you remember Pythagorean theorem, c squared is a squared plus b squared. So this is not plus, this is minus. So that is the difference of it. So very similar to Pythagorean theorem. And don't forget that a in this case is the distance from the center to vertex. B in this case is the distance from the center to your minor. So that means the shorter part. And C in this case, I will move this around so you can see it, is distance from the center to your focus point, or foci in this case, because it's got 2. So that is the meaning of that. So, but your formula for ellipses, you just need to know A and B. You do not need to know C. So sometimes the question wants you to find what is the focus point or something else, then you need to use this formula to find the focus point. So this formula is used to find focus point. Okay, yep. And in this case, both the vertex, foci, or vertices, can I spell today? Vertices, foci, they all have to be in coordinates. Okay, so when you write this, they all will be in coordinates. Okay, and again, if I'm asking for equation, your equation has to have x and y. Okay. So how do I know what is going on is which one is which is you look at here. The one that have A, because A is the major one, will give us the horizontal or the vertical. So if you look at here, A is down here, right? And above is X. So can someone tell me X-axis is a horizontal or vertical axis? When you look at your X-axis, is your X-axis horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. So that's why it is a horizontal, because your A is above X. But if your A is above Y, then it is what? It is vertical. So this is usually how I teach my students. How you know this is, don't forget, A has to be greater than B in this case when you do this. All this. The good thing is I will give you the formula. So this is the formula: c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So so that is the equation of your conics, we call it, the ellipse. Okay. So let's take a look at some examples here. Number 4. Anyone have any questions for me? This question wants us to find the equation. So when I ask you for equation, means it's going to be like x squared over a squared, or x squared over b squared, depends on it. And of the ellipse with the center of the origin. So your vertices in this case is given us by 0 plus minus 8. And your foci is given us 0 plus minus 4. So the first thing, as like parabola, you need to figure out, are they horizontally or are they vertically? So how do we figure out, are they horizontally or vertically? You plot this on your axis. If they lie everything on the x-axis, then this fellow will be horizontal. If your vertices and your foci lies on the y-axis, then this is vertical. So can you guys know where 0 plus minus 8 is? Where's 0, 8 located at? On the x or on the y-axis?
The Y.
So it's right here, right? So this is 8. This is negative 8. So this is your vertex in green. And your foci in purple is also in the y-axis. Purple, 4, 4, -4 and 4. This is the foci. And your center, which is red, is right at the 0. So everything lies on where? On the y-axis. So is this on the horizontal side or is it on the vertical side? What side is it on? This is on the vertical side. So what is the formula for the vertical side? I'm going to go back to 4.4 here because we're using this. So which one are we taking? This fellow or that fellow?
Second one.
Second one. And make sure all your HK is 0, 0. So it's x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals to 1. So this is a plus. So what we need now is your A and your B. And what is the A? A is the distance from the center to the vertex. So if you look at here, where is your A at? This is your center to where?
4, -8.
8 or 4?
8.
8, yes, this is the vertex. So this is your A. Can someone tell me what is 0 to 4 here? What is that called? A, B, or C?
B.
No. You know,
C.
this is your focus, right? Focus is what?
C.
C, yes. So as you know that this question, we know A. A is what? 8, right? So we figure out A already is 8. So this is 8 squared. I believe you guys know what 8 squared is. But we are missing B. We are missing the one that goes sideways. So how do you find B? You have to use this formula. So in order for us to find B, you have to use C squared equals to A squared minus B squared. So you need to find, you have to solve for B. So does anyone know what is C here? C is from here to here. That gives us what? 4. So it is 16. This is 4 squared. And we know A is 8 squared. Does anyone know what 8 squared is?
64.
And you guys need to solve for B. So I will subtract 64. Anyone has a calculator here? What's 16 minus 6?
-46.
46. And the B will, the negative will cancel. So your B squared in this case is 46. Oh, 48, 46. Drink some water. So now we know B squared, which is 46. So can you tell me what is the equation of this this ellipsis? X squared. B squared is 46 plus Y squared. 8 squared is 64 equals to 1. So this is your answer for question 4A. So get some more.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Does it matter if we use the negatives or no? Like,
What do you mean by negatives? Oh,
so
this one?
yeah. So instead of
Um,
using 8, we use -8 or -4.
I recommend use a positive because you can use a negative, but when you square it, it becomes positive. So I would recommend using the positive. You can use a negative, but once you square it, becomes positive.
Okay, got it.
Yep, I strongly recommend using the positive. All right, so I want you, while I'm getting some water here, I want you guys to look at 4B here. I want you guys to figure out that it's a foci. or foci in this case is plus minus 2, 0. And your major axis is 10. I want you guys to figure out where is this opening on? Is that on the X or on the Y? Horizontal or vertical? I'll be back. So that will be your attendance today. So in the chat room, that is your attendance. Tell me, is this, don't type present. Is this horizontal or is this a vertical ellipsis? Don't type present, do not Ethan. And is that vertical or is that horizontal? That will be your attendance. Don't type present, type vertical. Again, you get it right, you get it wrong, doesn't matter as long as some you say, yep, I always get some say vertical, some say horizontal, 50-50 chance. I got 2 horizontal so far and the rest is vertical. How many got? 3 horizontal now. So again, class, I just want to point out to you guys that look carefully here. If your coordinates of your vertices and your foci is on the Y value, it is what? Vertical, right? This is what we did in number 4A. So now your focus is where? On your X value, not the Y value. So this is going to be ellipsis on what?
Horizontal.
Yeah, this is horizontal. Okay, so make sure you look at your coordinates. Okay, so if you want to draw it, again, your center is at 0, 0. Your +2 and -2, 0 is right here. So this is your focus point, and it's on the x-axis. So since it's on the x-axis, it is horizontal in this case. Okay. Now it's also given us that your major is 10. So when I say major and it's horizontal, means it goes from. So when you draw me the ellipsis, it looks something like this. That means from one end to the other end, this is 10. Can someone tell me how far is it from here to here? From the center to the vertex here. And this has to be the same, right? Because it is. Anyone know? Since the major is 10.
Plus or minus 5.
So this is -5 and this is what? Positive 5. Can someone tell me what is this 5 and -5 is? Is that gonna be your, we have a name for it.
A vertex.
Will that be your vertex? Yes. A, B, or C?
A.
A, yes. I'm teaching you very slowly because a lot of, if you miss this one, you get everything wrong. So that means that this is your vertex. That is correct. That means your A in this case is 5. What is this 2 is? Is that your B or your C?
T.
Is that your minor or the focus point? The 2.
C.
It's focus, so it's C. So C is 2. Again, it's missing B. And the formula, since you're telling me is horizontal, the equation that we're going to use is going to be, you say it's horizontal. So we're going to use the first one here. Again, your HK is 0, 0. So it's going to be x squared over a squared, because it's horizontal, plus y squared over b squared equals to 1. Again, we know a is 5, so this is 25 because 5 squared is 25. We do not know b squared. So again, how do we figure out b squared? Like what we did here. You have to use the formula, right? So go ahead, use this formula. C squared equals to a squared minus b squared. And we know a and c here. Plug this in here. I want you guys all do this and find what is b squared. Let's go ahead and do it. That's what we did here. Anyone got b squared is?
21.
Yep, 21, which is 25 minus 4. So that means if you take the square root, so what is b here? B is this length. So from this center up here, there's a minor axis. This is the square root of 21. So the distance from here to here is root 21. And if you use your calculator, root 21 is like what, 4 point something. So that is how far, the b in this case. But since the equation doesn't want us to draw, they want us to figure out what's the equation. So we found b squared is 21. So this is your equation. This is your answer. You guys all right here? So don't forget, a goes the vertex, b goes to the minors. So what happened? And we know that a has to be greater than b, right? Because this length has to be long. The major one has to be longer than the minor. So my question to you is, what happens if you got a exactly the same as b? What do you get? So that means this below is 5 and this below is not 21. Square of 21 is still 5. What do you get in this case if your a and b the same?
Circle.
Yes, you guys got the circle. So this is the difference between a circle and ellipse is the a and b here. So if your a is greater than b, is an ellipse. If a is equal to b, is a circle. And there is no such thing as a is smaller than b. Okay, so it's either greater than b, you get an ellipse. Otherwise, if it's equal, it is circle. No such thing as a less than b in this case. You guys all right here? Questions you have? So if a question asks us to find the equation, this is what the equation looks like, the answer for the equation. Okay. Let's see what I have for number 5. 5, so this is finding the equation. We call it standard form of the equation. If the question is asking us to find the vertices of the ellipse, so that means vertices is your A, your B, or your C. Anyone? Vertices? A. Yep, they want you to figure out what is your A is. So this question wants you to figure out what is A is. If you know A is good, and don't forget A is always greater than B, right? Because it's an ellipse. So now, if you look at this equations that provide 9x squared over 25 plus 9y squared over 16 equals to 1. If you look at this formula, you notice that your x squared and y squared, they are all having coefficient of 1. So they always keep this as 1. So how do we get rid of this 9 here? And if also you notice that this is always equals to what? 1. Not 1, 9 or 1, 8 or 1, 7 or 3 or 4 or 8 or whatever. It's only 1. So how do we get rid of this 9? So we still have 1 here. Now a lot of students think, oh, I just divide everything by 9. If you divide everything by 9, yeah, this 9 will cancel out, but then this is no longer 1. It's 1/9. So you cannot do that. Okay. So what do we do is we do the trick here. So if you remember last time that what is 1/3/5? Do you want to know how to write this? This is the same as 1 divided by 3/5, right? Which is the same as what? 1 times 5/3, right? So this is 5/3. So actually that if you look carefully, this 5 on the top can be moved down to the bottom if you make him as a fraction. So we can use this the same thing. Is this 9 that you see here is on top here? We can move it down. We can make this as 1. We can move it as long as you move it, put a 9, whatever you have. So just move it down. So this 9 will be gone. And same thing happens. We don't want this 9, so we just move it down. And this is still 1 because we're just changing this fraction to become a complex fraction. So what we have in this case is x squared over by 25/9. This is a trick that I am showing you here. And then y squared over 16/9 equals to 1. Now, in order to figure out are they having a horizontal or vertical, you have to figure out which one is your A and which one is your B. And how do you figure out is make sure you know your A has to be greater than B. Can someone tell me between these two fractions, which is bigger?
16/9.
16/9 or 25/9?
25/9.
25/9 is bigger than 16/9. Yep. So we know that 25/9 is greater than 16/9. So which one is going to be your A and which one is going to be your B here?
25/9 is A, 16/9 is B.
Now, do not forget, this is not A. This is one of students' tends. That is correct, but unfortunately, this is not your A and this is not your B. This is actually is your A squared. Yes, and this is your B squared. The question wants us to find what? The distance of what? Vertex, right? So when I ask you to find the vertices, means A. So can someone tell me what is A in this case? So you take the square root. What's the square of that?
5/3.
5/3, and it has a plus minus, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell me, is this gonna be on the horizontal one, or is this gonna be a vertical one?
Horizontal.
This is horizontal. So horizontal means everything is on the X, right? So can someone tell me how you write this in the coordinates? Is that plus minus 530? Or is that 0 plus minus 5?
Plus minus 5/3 by, I mean,
The
0.
first one or the second?
First
The
one.
first one or the
First
second
one.
one?
There you go.
Yeah,
First
that's is easier. So this is correct. So if you give me this, is wrong. So again, there are few things I want to point out here. First thing is make sure you know that this is A squared, not A, and then you take a square root. And once you got A, you need to watch out, are they 5 like here, this 0 or 0 that. So how do we figure out is make sure you know that if you have a horizontal one, the horizontal one is going to be this. If you have a vertical one, this is for horizontal and this is for the vertical one. Since the A is underneath the X, so we know this is a horizontal ellipse. So what we do is we need to draw the picture for this. So we need to graph this. So how do we graph this? The center is at 0, 0. The A in this case is 5/3. So you just measure 5/3 on the left side and 5/3 on the right side. So because that's our vertex A. And now in order for us to figure out how tall is it, we use the B. So can someone tell me what is B in this case? It's a plus minus what?
4/3.
So that means that you have to go up 4/3. And you have to go down -4/3. So you got these two dots and you got those two dots. You draw me an ellipse, which is like a circle, but it's not a circle because 5/3 is bigger than 4/3. So it looks something. This is a picture. So when you draw me an ellipse, you need your A and you need your B. Do we need C to draw any for your ellipse? If you're going to graph it, you do not need C. So you do not need to use that formula that you learned just now. C squared equals to A squared minus B squared to 5. Because when you draw it, the C is somewhere here. We do not, and the question doesn't ask for focus point, right? The question asking for just vertex. You guys all right here? Tough. And we are still doing vertex ellipse, so there is a application problems here. So a semi-elliptical arc of a tunnel will go through a mountain, has a major axis of 50, and has a center and a height at the center at 10 feet. Sketch this arc of the tunnel on the rectangular system where the center of the road is the origin, is your vertex, your center. Identifying the coordinates of a known point. So we have a semi-elliptical. So semi-elliptical means it's ellipse that cut into half. And since it goes, height is 10 feet. So this is at the middle here. And from this end to this end is 50 feet. Okay, so it's called the major axis. And the goes up here is 10 feet. So you get this ellipse, but it's semi, means halfway. So you should ellipse, you got to go bottom part, so you go to top part here. So can someone tell me what are your coordinates for this, this, and this? So let's do this follow. What is the coordinates for this one? Since this is 50 feet apart.
25, 0.
Negative
This
25,
one,
0.
negative 25, 0. And what is this one is? 25, 0, right? And what is the coordinates of him since you go up 10?
0, 10.
0, 10. Okay. Can you tell me, is this parabola is horizontal or vertical? Horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
Because it's A here is, so this is your A and this is your B, right? So A in this case is 25 and B in this case is 10. So yes, this is a horizontal because it's longer on this side. The formula is x squared. This is the formula for horizontal. X squared over A squared plus y squared over B squared equals to 1. This is a A and this is a B. And since we know A is 25, so we plug in here. So what is 25 squared? 25 square, anyone calculators? B,
25.
Yeah, 625.
625, and B is what? 10, so 10 square is 100, right? 10 times 10 is 100. So this is the equations of an ellipse. So the question A is asking us find the equation. So this is part A. So we are doing part B now. You have to do the equation of it. So this is a part B. But unfortunately, this is not the whole ellipse. It's only a semi-elliptical. So you begin to solve for x. So because it cut on this, if you go the other way, a vertical way, you solve for y because it cut on the y-axis. This one you cut on the x-axis by half. So you solve for x. So first thing first, I move this to that side. So I will get x squared over 625 equals to 1 minus y squared over 100. So I move this to that side. And then I multiply 625 to this side. So to get rid of that fraction. Yep. And I need to get rid of the x. So I take the square root of it. Now, every time when you take the square root of it, you need plus and minuses. So the question is, which one should we take? The plus or the minuses? It depends on the semi-elliptical. If you take this side, is that positive or negative side?
Positive.
This is positive. If you take the one going downwards, is negative. So in this case, your answer will be positive square root. Now this 625, you can yank it out because 625 is a perfect square of what? 25. So this is 25. You can put 25 because you can put him out. 1 minus y squared over. So this is the equation of the elliptical here, semi-elliptical for this part, because that is the equation of it, and it is semi, so that's why you got the positive here. So this is 25 times it, okay? And part C, you are driving a pickup truck, and this pickup truck has a width of 8 feet and the height of 9 feet. Will the pickup truck go through it? So let's say this is the tunnel that you that it has. So your pickup truck, I'm gonna do in let's see, purple. This is your pickup truck. So this is a one-way road. So that means that only one car can go through it. So this is your pickup truck. And this pickup truck is what? A width of 8 feet. So that means from here to here is 8 feet. And the height from here to here is 9 feet. So the question is asking is, can you drive this pickup truck go through it? So what we figure out is this fellow gonna be below or above? If it's above, we probably will not drive through it, right? If it's below this line, then yes. So can someone tell me what x value should we plug in here? So it's from here to here is 8 feet. So what is the value from 0 to there? 4. So what you need to do here is you have to take this equation. Oh, this is actually. Oh, actually, this is, let me see. Yeah. Plug x. Let me see. Ooh, maybe I do this one wrong. X. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did this one wrong. My bad. We don't solve for x. Actually, we have to solve for y. Yeah, sorry. This one has to solve for y. My bad. This one has to solve for y because it goes this way. Yep. If we go the other way, you solve for x. Sorry, you had to solve for y. My bad here. So I'm going to redo this again. So I'm going to start a new one. This is page 4. So we have the elliptical here. The equation that the equation that we have is x squared over 625 plus y squared over 100 equals to 1. This is from the 1. So instead of solving, it's y. So same thing, we move that over here. So it's minus x squared over 625. And then I multiply this by 100. And then I take the square root of it to get rid of this, the square. And because it's a positive, so we pick the positive. So this is y equals to the 100 is 10 because it's a perfect square of 10. Square of 1 minus x squared over 625. So this is how we do part B. Sorry, should be solved for Y, not solved for X. And then part C is that truck that I mentioned earlier on, that you got this truck where it's 8 and then 9. So what we do in this case is this from here to here, we plug 4 in here. So what you do here is you plug X equals to 4. So into this equation and figure out what is your Y value. So 10 times square root of 1 minus 16 over 625. Because your X in this case is 4. So you plug in here. So go ahead and we use your calculator here. What you find here, go ahead, take out your calculator and punch it out. And this is the value for him. This is the Y value that you calculate here. What you get. 16 over 160, 625, 1 minus 16. So it's that, and then you take the square root of it. My calculator is a bit weird. And then multiply this by 10. So this is actually is 9.8 something. 9.87 something. So that means that this value is 9.87. And you drive a pickup, the truck, how is 9 feet. So my question is, can your truck goes through this tunnel? Yes or no?
Yes.
So in this case, yes. The reason why is because 9 is less than 9.87, right? So you should no problem going in there because your height of the truck is 9, but the one on the highest is 9.87. So your truck can go in. What happens if the other way around? That if you found this is not 9.87, let's say you found this 8.87. Can your pickup truck goes in? The truck goes in there?
No.
No, because this is short, your pickup is higher, so you probably have a problem, right? So so this is how you figure out this kind of questions. Whether yes or no, it depends on what you calculate here. If this number is shorter than 9, then the answer is no. If this number is bigger than 9, then like this case, then the answer will be yes, your pickup will be going through that. Anyone have any questions for me here? This is the end of today's class. So don't forget that we only mentioned about we just only talk about your ellipses and your parabola. We haven't talked about hyperbola yet, so we'll talk about this on Wednesday. So so we will talk about hyperbolas, and then after that we will refer to your to 4.4, where we begin to do all these works here. Okay. So again, this formula is provided in the test, so make sure you use it. So Wednesday we'll talk about hyperbola, and then we'll figure out the rest of it. And some of the questions are a bit more difficult. Anyone have any questions for me before we end today's Zoom class?
Yeah.
Go
You
ahead.
can go ahead.
Okay, one by one first. Nukin, what you have?
Oh, it was just for the math problem earlier. I was just wondering why it was a horizontal instead of vertical.
The number 6 one, this one?
Yeah.
Question 6. The reason why is because it is on the horizontal is your major axis is 50. So this from here to here is 50.
Oh, and it's on the x-axis?
Yeah, this is major axis will be from here.
Oh.
You don't build a tunnel that looks something like this, where this
Yeah.
is the other way around. So that's why it's gonna be a horizontal in this case.
All right, got it.
Yep, Gamal.
In question number 5, you said it was a horizontal axis. How did we get to that?
So in question 5, give me a sec, I'll do that for a while. So this is question 5. So you figure out, because we know A is greater than B, so when you move the 9 down there, so you use your calculator. What is 25 over 9? What is 16 over 9? The bigger one is your A.
Okay, yeah, but then how do we know that that isn't plotted on the y-axis?
We look at who is for your, if you look at the formula, the A has to be greater than B, so the A has to above X. The big one has to above X. If it's above Y, then it's on the y-axis.
Okay,
So I don't know who is bigger. So you have to take out your calculator and figure out. So 25 over 9 is this is 2.77.
all right.
And 16 over 9 is what? 1.77.
Alright.
So we know that this number is bigger, so that's why this will be A squared. And this will be B squared.
Okay.
That's how we figure out.
Thank you.
Yep. Anyone have any questions for me? Okay, so I'm gonna end today's here. I'm gonna start